Lately, I've been wanting to get rid of a lot of my gear just because, frankly, I have too much of it. So being a YouTuber means that companies send you stuff so you can review it. And because I don't get paid to review, I get to keep the piece of gear in exchange for the video. That is the payment that I get for doing the videos. I get to keep whatever they send me, but I have too much of it. I've been doing this series on the channel here for like, what, 3 years? And I have hundreds of pedals. That is without counting all the stuff I bought myself or the stuff that I traded for. So I have quite a lot of pedals. And every time I'm thinking, well, if I want to make a video that's helpful to people, I should compare this expensive thing to this cheap thing, or this readily available thing with this boutique pedal, or whatever the idea might be. The struggle has been that over the years, I've noticed that every time I do a shootout, people will say, this pedal sounds best, or that pedal sounds best. And this pedal might be the $30 pedal, and that pedal might be the $250 pedal. And this always makes me question whether I should keep the gear that is more expensive, or I should keep the gear that's more readily available and cheaper, or if I just should keep whatever I really enjoy and stop thinking about the fucking resale value, which is absolutely stupid, because I do this all the time. I'm trying to think like a collector, and I'm not a collector. Sure, I have a lot of pedals, but I don't think of them as collectible items. I don't want to make a profit on anything because it's not my nature. I don't want to, get a pedal that's really in demand right now and sell it for 5 times the price. I find it, for me, morally wrong to do that. So when I started this whole journey, the point was to see, where do I put my money? And where do you put your money? So if I can really narrow down what is essential, then I'm going to keep the gear that's best for whatever the hell I'm going to be doing here on the channel, and also as a musician. So if I go out and gig with someone, do I bring the most expensive shit, or do I bring the most affordable stuff? Now, my personal belief is that the most important and critical piece of gear for me is the amplifier. After that, the guitar, and at the very end, the pedals. And some people might have a different take on this, but having been playing for over 30 years, this is my impression. It's been my experience. Other people might think differently, but that's my take on it. I'm gonna put the money on the amp first, the guitar second, and after that, I look at pedals, because pedals, I find the difference in quality is not as tremendous or as overly exaggerated as it is with an amp. So if I grab a small practice amp that's worth $50, and then I grab something like this amp over here, which is the 3 Bananas Galktopus, hand-wired amp, made in Germany, it's got the whole Marshall thing going on. If I grab this and some small practice amp, there's gonna be a hell of a difference. The speakers, the circuit design, the whole thing, right? So starting with that premise, I got a great amp. I have an ESP guitar here, which is, one of the custom ones made in Japan. Great guitar. I have some really good pickups in here too. They are the bare knuckles. This one here is the Holy Diver, and this is the VH2. The fundamentals of my guitar tone, I have no issues. But now I want to know if I want to keep a pedal that's going to do the KLON thing, because I'm not the biggest fan of the KLON circuit, but if I want a great example of it, where if I ever do a video and I need to use a KLON type pedal, which one do I keep? So on the chopping block today are 4 pedals that I need to make a decision about. So the first one is the Architect V1 from Matthews Effect. And this one here, I really liked the first time I got it. And then I started to compare it, and I was like, I don't know, it's great. There's no issues at all with it, but they kind of all end up sounding the same to me. And I get really confused, because then I don't know, like, should I keep the more boutique-y, rare one, or should I go with the more readily available, made in China, NUX Horseman that has 2 different voicings. So if you hold down the switch here, you go from silver KLON to gold KLON. Now, this one here I actually like. I don't like it so much in the higher gain settings, but at lower gain settings, it's good. It's a really good pedal. I also have the Tumnus here, which is, it's been winning a lot of blind shootouts. Anderton has done a lot of videos, and this little guy always comes out on top. So this one here is a great choice too. It's got a fatter, like, low end, but then I have like the latest trendy thing, which is this guy. It's the Germanium Tumnus. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't find the Germanium Tumnus better than the regular Tumnus. It's a good pedal, but I mean, right now these are fetching stupid prices. I know that if I put it up for sale and I want to get, you know, whatever, 200 bucks out of it or something, someone's going to just jump on it and scalp other people with it. So I almost don't want to put it up for sale until it reaches, you know, what I think is a decent price. So now I got 4 candidates. I have, you know, something I could fool myself into thinking is awesome because everybody wants it, or I could stay with the regular outlier, which was the Tumnus, which is not even like Germanium like the original or anything. It's just a great sounding pedal. I could go with the Architect V1 that has multiple voicings here, which makes it pretty flexible, or go with the Horseman. So what I'm going to do is use the wiretap. I'm going to record one performance for all the different examples, and I'm just going to be reamping through all 4 pedals, going through the clean channel here, and we're going to see, you know, what sounds best, or if there's no difference, or if I can't perceive enough of a significant difference, then I'm going to have to make a decision. Either I keep the big expensive stuff just because it's bragging factor, which is really not my style, or I go with the more budget option and make money selling the other guys. So what I'm going to do is do the shootout, and then I'm going to let you know my thought on which one I think might be best for different people and which one I'm more inclined to keep after doing this particular shootout. So yeah, let's get to it. what is my thought after doing this? I can say that the Horseman, as I stated before, at higher gain volumes, I don't like it so much. It's a bit fuzzy and not really my thing, but I do like the flexibility of being able to go from the gold to the silver, which one of the modes sounds like it's a little gainier. So when you put it at lower volumes, you still get that grit. It's a tough pedal. It's not cheap plastic. It's good looking. I mean, if you put it side by side with the Tumnus, you know, they are pretty close, and form factor is the same. They look very similar, but this one here sells for less money. I would be inclined to say that out of all the ones I've tried, the regular Tumnus is really hard to beat. The other ones are good, like the Germanium Tumnus is good, but it's a little thin sounding like the more traditional KLON type pedals, which is not my thing. I know a lot of people, that's what they go for. This is not my thing. So for me, this is pretty much cut and dry. This is what I would go for, not because of it has a great resale value, not because it's popular or in demand or anything like that. It's just because I played it for many years. I love it. I think it's a great pedal. I don't like the thinner sounding KLONs, and this one here sure doesn't sound thin. So when you put it at lower volumes, it's still beefy, especially with single coil pickups. It's a great option. And frankly, the whole buzz around the Germanium version of this pedal, I don't think is warranted. I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want. I'm not here to sway your opinion. What I'm just saying is that personally, like, if I could get either one for free, this is the one I would go for. And if I was an a-hole, I would probably grab this and try to make money so I could buy this. So frankly speaking, if that was the approach, I'd rather just go with this. Makes more sense. And for the Architect, if you can spot one of these, you're into the different clipping mode, I think this is a brilliant take on it too, but I mean, I like the form factor of the mini stuff. Top mounted, which is very cool. More my thing, I like to save space on a pedal board, and I think a lot of people like that too. But frankly speaking, this guy, it's a no-brainer. So for me, this would be pretty cut and dry. It would be the regular Tumnus, and I would sell the rest. And that would be it. I hope you got something out of the video, and if you have any opinions on this process, maybe you agree with how I did it, or maybe you have, you know, some objections to it, I'm open to all criticism. You can leave your opinions in the comment and I will respond. If you like this video, there are more just like it appearing on screen right now. Click on one of those and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.